Welcome to Wander, Explore, Discover.
Today we're doing a campground review on Pioneer Bridges.
And I'm going to cook up some fluffy pancakes. Pioneer Bridges is a beautiful bush campground on the Ovens River near Markwood in Victoria's High Country. It is located on the Markwood-Everton Road, approximately 2 kilometres from Everton and only 20 kilometres from Beechworth.
The Pioneer Bridges Campground is located approximately 260 kilometres from Melbourne. It is a popular destination for camping, swimming, fishing, and just relaxing. If you want more places to wander, explore, and discover, subscribe to our channel for new videos every week.
Access to the Pioneer Bridges is along the sealed Markwood-Everton Road, and you turn near the bridge and drive down into the campground. The camping surface is mainly hard-packed dirt with some grassy areas. The lovely Ovens River runs through the campground, and there are several camping spots on the riverbank. There is a sandy area near the river that is easily accessible for swimming, fishing, or launching your kayak. There are only a few riverfront spots available, but there are more camping areas in the bush back from the river.
We chose a beautiful riverfront site which was nice and flat and provided good solar. The camping area has lots of trees, so if you want shade you will have plenty of choices. We stayed here in early October and there were a few other campers, but it wasn't very busy. Parks Victoria maintains Pioneer Bridges and it is free to camp here.
There is a long drop toilet in the middle of the campground. There are picnic tables and fire pits scattered around the camping area and several rubbish bins. Pioneer Bridges Campground is a small campground that is suitable for motorhomes, caravans, camper trailers and tents. I think it would be very popular over the summer, so you would need to get in early to get a good spot.
Pioneer Bridges Campground is dog friendly, just keep your dogs on a lead and clean up after them. Fires are allowed as long as there is no fire ban. The camping spots are easily accessible for motorhomes. We had good Telstra mobile coverage when we stayed. A long drop toilet is available, you will need to provide your own toilet paper. There are picnic tables, tent camping is allowed, bins are available, you can swim in the river and you can fish in the river. On our way to Pioneer Bridges, we visited Beechworth Berries and bought a punnet of beautiful fresh strawberries. We also popped into Last Street Brewery in Beechworth. They are open daily from 12 noon to 5 p.m. and have a fantastic range of cordials, syrups and liqueurs that you can taste. We bought a bottle of their salted caramel syrup, which is delicious.
G'day, this afternoon we're going to make some afternoon tea. And we're going to cook up some big fat pancakes, and to do that we have picked up a punnet of strawberries from Beechworth Berries, and we also picked up this very decadent bottle of syrup from Last Street Brewery. So we'll prepare our strawberries, which is really easy. We're just going to take off the tops, right, get rid of any of the greenery, then cut them in half and throw them in a container, and when we've sort of done these we'll sprinkle them with some icing sugar. cut up our strawberries, and now we're just going to put a bit of icing sugar over the top through a strainer. So just back and forward. That's pretty decadent. And we can just toss them around a bit. Give them a nice coating. Ready to go. Right, so one of the key points to making fluffy pancakes is the sour milk. So that's what we're going to do now. You need 3/4 of a cup of milk. So we've only got these. We're going to use a 1/2 cup and 1/4. You could eyeball it if you like, but we're going to be fairly exact. So I'll take a 1/2 cup of milk into a bowl. And then we'll do a 1/4 of a cup of milk. Then we want a tablespoon of lemon juice to sour the milk. So we haven't got any in a bottle. So we'll just squeeze it into our tablespoon measurement. I think I dropped a seed in the milk, that's okay. Tablespoon of lemon juice into our milk. Alright, so we let this sit for a good 5 minutes, but you'll notice if you stir this around that your milk will start to curdle or go lumpy. Alright, and that's fine. So you want to let that curdle. It's supposed to do that for a good 5 minutes, and then we can move on to the next step. So while the milk is curdling, we'll put our dry ingredients together first into this big bowl, and we're going to use a cup of self-raising flour. So just grab your cup, tip something in to get it to the top. Right, so overfill it, give it a bit of a tap, and then just level it off. If you haven't quite done enough, a bit more in there. Alright, that's pretty good. So we can add that in. Next, we want a tablespoon of sugar. We've only got raw sugar, so we'll just use whatever you got. The caster sugar is usually the best. Right, so we'll just get that level at the top and put that through. Then we want some baking powder, so a 1/4 teaspoon. So take your teaspoon, once again, just get this one level with the back of the knife. Put it in as well. And finally, a pinch of salt. So if you've got free running salt, just a pinch. Otherwise, we've got some bit of rock salt, and that's about a pinch. Sieve that through, and we're going to have trouble with our sugar. You can just use the back of your hand if you want to push it through the strainer, or just tip it straight in if there's nothing foreign in your sieve. Which it looks pretty good, so we'll just tip that in. Now we'll put our wet ingredients together. We've got our sour milk, and the first thing we'll do is grab an egg, 1 whole egg. Just take it, give it a good tap on the table, just to get it to break, and then straight into your mix. And then we want a tablespoon of butter that we're going to melt. So we'll just put it on the gas here to melt it. It's going. You only want it just melted. If it's too hot, it'll cook your egg. So just get it until it's running. You could do this in a microwave too, if you're at home. Just while waiting for the butter to melt, it says 5 ml of vanilla. We'll just take a cap, because everybody loves vanilla. So just a cap of vanilla, and tip that in. And then our butter, which that's enough. Alright, you just want it until it's just melted. Swirl it around a bit and then tip that in with your liquids. Once you've got it all in there, grab a whisk and just to break up the egg and mix it all together. Just back and forward, stir it around a bit until it's you don't have any of those lumps of egg in there. Alright, and you're good to go. Right, we've got our wet ingredients and we've got our dry ingredients. So we're going to take our mixed wet ingredients and tip them into our dry. And then we're just going to fold this. So with a wooden spoon, just come around the edges and keep moving it into the center. We don't want to overbeat this to make it thick. We're just turning it into a batter without developing the gluten too much, right? So round, round and round. So just lightly stir it through, and we're just looking to get it looking reasonably smooth, right? But without whisking, so to speak. Right? And once you get it to this stage, you'll want to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we can have a look at to see if it's too thick or too thin, how we can address that. But it's looking fairly smooth now, so we'll put that aside to rest for 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got our setup. We've got a little bit of butter in the bottom of our pan melting, and we've got our batter ready to go. Right, now don't worry if it's too thick. We're going to simply take a quarter of a cup of our batter and just put it into the middle. Get started. We're just doing, I'll do one in the middle just to as a bit of a test to see how we go. And you want to let it sit. Now your temperature, you might want to just bring your temperature down a little bit. We want it to cook but not burn on the bottom. And just like pikelets or pancakes, once you start to see bubbles come up, they'll start to pop. And you'll also see it will brown around the edges of the pancake. And once those bubble holes start to set and this goes brown, then you can flip it over. Right, so just keep an eye on it. You can see that the bubbles are starting to set, all right, and we're starting to get a bit of a brown edge around the edge. So we're just going to flip this over, and you can see it's probably a bit dark, so we're going to turn the temperature down a little bit. And that way it'll let it cook correctly before we put them over, and you won't get that sort of verging on burnt around the edges. Alright, we're up to the last two, and they progressively got better as we've gone along. Getting the heat about right, about half, maybe a little bit less than half is good. These are just joined, so we'll just separate them a little bit. Alright, and then flip these over. Let's get under this one. Whoops, a little bit on the edge. And they're looking pretty good. Alright, we've got our cooked pancakes. We're going to plate them up and make a pancake stack. So we'll just place 3 on top of one another like this. Add some strawberries. So grab some around the edges. We whipped up some cream, so we're just going to take a good dollop of that and put it in the top. And then we're going to take our salted caramel syrup, crack that open, and just do a bit of a drizzle over the top, and it is ready to go. Alright, this is our pancake stack and strawberries. Looks absolutely fantastic in the sun. Delicious afternoon tea. Probably need to have a nap after that. We hope you enjoyed today's video. You can find more information and places to explore at wanderexplorediscover.com.